Well, hello, beautiful people. Great to be connected with you on the 18th of November, 2023. Exciting day. It is, well, the second launch of Starship. And a couple of months back, I live streamed the mid-air explosion. I'm hoping that does not happen today, but as you can see here, the SpaceX live stream is active, and I thought it would be really great to watch it together on the live stream. If you're live, please do what you've put into the stream. Do say hello and say greetings. Chat to me. I'm just recording this for posterity's sake, rather, and of course, you know, you can tune into the SpaceX live stream if you want to. So it's 26 minutes to the launch here in Kenya. It is 3:30, so they're set to, all being well, go off in just over 26 minutes time. I'm going to put the audio up of the SpaceX thing here and just sort of bring it up for anybody that's sort of interested in listening. So here it is. We'll have it all in the background, and of course I'll add my commentary as well. But if you don't want my commentary, all is okay, because you can go and go straight to the stream live on Twitter, or X as it's called now.
At T-minus 2 hours, we got the goes, and we started loading both propellants on the booster at T-minus 1 hour and 36 minutes.
Okay.
At T-minus 1 hour and 17 minutes, we began propellant loading of the ship second stage. Propellant loading of the Starship second stage main tanks will complete at approximately T-minus 22 minutes, just a few minutes from now.
Okay,
and
so
at about the same time, we will switch over to loading the header tanks in the nose of the ship. Meanwhile, it'll be
so it's sounding promising at the moment. A few more minutes to finish the loading, which is exciting. Now, just to recap last time, when the first attempt took off, it actually got off the ground, but it did a huge amount of damage to the tank farm complex, and of course it got off onto the and as it flew up, you noticed that there were engines that had failed, which is you know, not great. And then of course when it came to the stage separation, it didn't separate for whatever reason, and then what's happened, it just tumbled out of control, and I am not too sure if it blew itself up or it was a controlled detonation. I don't know. I'm really hoping today that they will get further than that. I'm hoping that upgrades on the launch pad will be able to protect the launch pad from the huge blast that's coming from this super rocket. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, watching it last time was very exciting. I got incredibly excited seeing this thing take off, and then there was sort of this interesting moment where it all exploded into outer space. It looks like a beautiful morning in Boca Chica, Texas, although it's apparently quite cold. So I think we're in for a spectacular launch, and by the looks of it, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful clear day, and sort of a sunrise launch. So we kind of get the best of both worlds of you know, seeing all the fire flare from the thrusters, but also having a clear view with a beautiful landscape. If you've just tuned in, it's great to have you here. My name's Wayne Hackman, and I'm just watching the Starship launch 2. I did it last time. I'm doing this for my own interest, and this is the X stream of SpaceX stream. I couldn't find it on YouTube, so I thought I'd stream it straight off and then put it onto YouTube should anybody want to watch. So say hello in the chat if you're here. I'm just going to go back to the SpaceX commentary for a little bit. We'll have a listen to see where they're at.
And that's about the same height as a fully integrated Falcon 9. The height of Starship on top of it is comparable to that of the Statue of Liberty. But of course, the most technical length unit is that of Godzilla's. And we can confidently say that the fully stacked Starship and Super Heavy is at least one Mechagodzilla tall.
Brilliant.
It just so happens that we refer to the launch and catch tower at Starbase as the Mechazilla from the Godzilla movie. And you could see from that the...
Oh, they do make me laugh, SpaceX.
Very, very uncanny. Now, the first stage, also known as the booster or Super Heavy, has a diameter roughly 2.5 times that of Falcon 9.
Very exciting.
And with 33 much larger engines. More engines means more power to deliver a massive amount of cargo to space. Amazing view here. This is a view that we don't have on our Falcon 9 missions. This is a view looking up under the Super Heavy booster. I love the shot. We can see all 33 engines there. Now, one cool upgrade on the booster's engines, we have a new electronic thrust vector control system, or ETVCs. We previously used the hydraulic system to control the positioning of the Raptor engines, meaning we tilted them in flight using pressurized
all the
fluid.
audio and everything's coming through okay. So if there is a problem, let me know. Yeah, this is brilliant.
Electronic system means fewer potential points of failure. Also, we now carry less mass on the vehicle because we don't need to carry hydraulic fluids anymore.
Oh, interesting.
So, good news all around. Now, the electric system has lots of benefits on its own.
So, of course, when this thing took off, they did this, and I don't know if they'll do it again. They showed all of the boosters, like a little graphic in the bottom corner of the screen. And then, of course, you saw these boosters sort of extinguishing themselves as they went up. And I think, from my understanding, what happened was the kind of exhaust from that sort of base set of boosters ripped up the ground and threw stuff all over the place and threw stuff back up into the boosters, which affected, their reliability. So I'm intrigued to know that all of this upgrading that they've done on the launch pad, I'm very, very intrigued to see if that will now protect not only the launch farm but the rocket as it sort of throttles up and then sort of takes a few seconds last time for it to lift off the ground. And of course, that few seconds on the ground is just enough time for any sort of debris to throw to be launched back up and damage the spaceship itself. So I'm hoping that they've sorted that out. I know that it actually dug a hole, sort of 20 meters deep, maybe even more than that underneath it, which I thought was hilarious. Yeah, they've apparently upgraded the launch pad, and maybe that's not going to be the case this time. Let's 20 minutes to go. Let's hear what they've got to say.
Between those two stages, that's our new hot stage, critical for our new separation technique. As we talked about earlier, we are constantly learning and upgrading the vehicle after we test. Now, this is a pretty exciting first for our team, as hot staging has never before been used as part of a reusable space transportation system, let alone on a rocket with the size and power of Starship. Hot staging is a significant change from Flight 1, and we're really hoping to gather data on it during this highly dynamic phase of flight, and that is, once again, assuming that we even make it that far.
First, let's take a closer look at what we expect hot staging to look like. Now, it occurs at about liftoff plus 2.5 minutes. Okay. At that point, the booster will shut down most of its 33 engines, leaving just 3
So that's interesting. That's the part where it went wrong last time.
Clamps will release, and then the ship will thrust away from the booster. Now, this is the first in-flight test of the heat shield on the top of the booster and the bottom of the ship.
Interesting.
And, of course, the first in-flight test of hot staging, and we're hoping to gather a ton of data on it today.
Yeah. Now, stage separation by hot staging is somewhat uncommon in spaceflight, but it has been done before. However, today will mark the first time that a reusable space transportation system is attempting it. The Titan program did hot staging quite successfully in the early 1960s, but they were not concerned with reuse, so there was no issue when the Titan first stage took considerable damage upon ignition of the second stage engine. Now, today, there is a good chance that our booster will also incur some damage from the second stage engines, but we need to test it out, see if the system can tolerate it, and collect data to learn how to do hot staging better next time, because ultimately, when successful, it could increase Starship's
This is the thing I like about the sort of SpaceX philosophy is break it.
More people to Mars.
design it better, put it into action. Break it, design it better, put it into action until they've got a product that is incredibly reliable. And you see that with the Falcon 9 rockets, you know. In the early stages, they were exploding all the time. They were crashing, particularly as they were coming back to the reusing element of it. And now it's routine. I think they've sent 4 rockets off this week, which, you know, is outstanding. And so I suspect they will get to the stage whereby this hopefully will become as reliable as the as reliable as
and of course this required design changes from Flight 1. The most notable of which is the interstage here. So on Flight 1, that interstage was completely enclosed. But for hot staging, the interstage portion between the booster and the ship is going to see dramatic increases in pressure and temperature. So we had to change the structure to include vents for the exhaust gases that the ship's Raptor engines will produce. Now, the 3 center engines on the ship actually gimbal, they rotate, and we're going to be gimbaling them outwards to reduce the forces that are being directly imparted on the booster and maximize the exhaust gas that's going through those vents. We've also beefed up the ship's space heat shield to withstand the higher temperatures and pressures. And for today's test, really getting through hot staging would be a major milestone.
So the spacecraft has been, by the sounds of it, incredibly upgraded since the launch that took back in was it April? I can't remember what it was. So they've been busy.
It's going to be super exciting to watch.
Look at that beautiful view.
Now, in addition to the first and second stages of the vehicle,
like I say, if you're on the live stream, great to have you here. Forgive me for not looking directly at the camera. So my camera is here, and the screen that I'm watching it on is over there. Yeah, you're not here to watch my beautiful face. You're here to watch the launch, and of course this is the X stream or Twitter stream, and of course Elon Musk owns Twitter, so I figured that it would be the best quality stream. Of course, if you don't want my commentary, I can completely understand. You can head over to the Twitter stream and watch it myself. But if you want to hear my thoughts and see me get excited when this thing takes off, because I do, it's remarkable. Oh yeah, this is the new deluge system that they've put in.
They're full thrust into the foundation for more than 12 seconds. So now we have a new high-pressure, water-cooled steel flame deflector system that we developed and installed between the flights, and there you can see the video of it dispensing 260,000 gallons of water.
So you can even see they've put water out around the cryo tanks off to the what's on my right-hand side. So that's really interesting.
Part of a rapidly reusable launch system also means the pad infrastructure. We've performed multiple standalone tests and have used this new system for both the Flight 2 booster static fire tests. And
so they've tested it, but I still don't understand why they haven't bought a flame redirect, where obviously the exhaust from the rocket sort of goes down and is directed somewhere else. It's still being put down onto what looks like flat concrete, and they're just hoping that this water deluge will protect the launch structure as well as you know, deaden the noise. I find that fascinating. Anyway, I'm not a rocket engineer, so
connections between the ground and Starship. Bottom line is, it's an important part of how we talk to Starship on the ground and understand that it's really ready to fly.
And of course, the awesome camera shot there of those 33 Raptor engines.
33 engines, yeah.
Such a great view. We don't have that view for Falcon 9.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, I think part of the problem last time was that the raw power of the exhaust flung up debris from the launch pad, and I think that's what took out some of the engines in the last launch. So if they fix that, we could see this spacecraft not only get off the ground, but
SpaceX has been working on this since
you know, get past that separation stage where it all went wrong last time.
Which are the first and only orbital class rockets capable of reflight. We started that, and Starship is going to take this even further with a reusable first and second stage. Now, while most rockets are expended after their portion of the mission, SpaceX rockets land back on Earth and are quickly returned
this
to
will be
hangars
totally reusable if not obviously this flight.
In fact, 90% of all Falcon 9 boosters that have flown this year have been reused, or as we like to say, flight proven. So while launching and landing rockets may seem routine today, this was not always the case. For those of you that have been following along since our early days, you know that it took us 4
There it is.
attempts before we successfully launched
One day
our
I will
first
go and
rocket
watch
to
this.
orbit.
Oh, yeah,
Here
that's
you
the Falcon
see
9
our
taking off.
Falcon 1 fuels and systems. So fast forward to present day, we've landed F9 boosters over 245 times since our first reflight of an orbital class booster 6 years ago.
Yeah, and it really comes down to our design philosophy. If you're not failing in some way, then there's room to learn and push the design to improve. And failure doesn't just mean blowing up a rocket. It might be not being as efficient as we want to be or producing slower than we want to. So that approach has been the basis of how...
Yeah, I mean, that's the SpaceX philosophy. So we're coming up to 11 minutes. Now,
All right. Now, Falcon 9 has certainly come a long way.
I seem to remember last time, around the 10-minute mark, they might pause it if there's an issue. I think if they go past the 10-minute mark, or below the 10-minute mark, rather, because it's a countdown, then it looks like it could be a go. So we could see another launch. Well, we are going to see another launch by the looks of it.
So again, whatever the outcome and however far we get today, we can promise excitement. So
that's why we're here.
Why do we need a rocket this big, and why does it need to be reusable so quickly? And that answer goes back to SpaceX's mission, which is to make life multiplanetary.
Yeah.
We aren't just building a new spacecraft. We're changing what it means to go to space. By building the most
always
powerful
been his
rocket
goal,
ever flown,
multiplanetary.
and a ship designed to carry people, cargo, habitats, satellites, and more, we're unlocking a future where our dreams of exploration will no longer exceed our grasp. And this mission continues with flights like today's integrated test.
And these are flights where we're going to fail fast, but learn even faster, where each time we're going to try something new while flying something that we've improved. And ultimately, that's going to build up
this
a fleet
concept
to fly
stuff.
early and often as Starship rapidly evolves to become more capable and more reliable.
I wonder if we'll send people will be on Mars first before the Cybertruck launch.
Under Artemis with NASA, Starship will return people back to the moon. After those first expeditions, we'll be ready to fly more people along with everything that it takes to build a moon base. Think about that. Hardware that will enable us to live on another world is sitting on a launch pad on Earth right now.
Yeah.
And the moon is just the proving ground. When the time comes to make that leap to Mars, everything gets ratcheted up by orders of magnitude.
The logistics of supporting an entire city on Mars are daunting, requiring millions of pounds of cargo flown.
So we're below the 10-minute mark, which is very exciting. This is, if you've just joined the stream, this is the SpaceX Twitter or X stream. Of course, I'm streaming this on YouTube, so I take no credit for any of this content. This is all SpaceX's fantastic views.
As the countdown clock clicks to 0. The teams, good news is, teams aren't working any significant issues on the launch vehicle right
great.
now. Propellant
That's good
loading
news.
is continuing on both the Super Heavy and the ship stages.
Fantastic.
Most recently, we began loading LOX and methane fuel into the header tanks on the Starship. And on the graphic on the left side of the screen, you can see up in the nose of the second stage, what we call Starship, are those 2 header tanks for fuel and liquid oxygen. Now that loading started at T-minus 24 minutes and will continue until approximately T-minus 5.5 minutes. Now, Starship's second stage main fuel and LOX tanks are loaded for flight. And the second stage propellant that we're loading on board is going through the quick disconnect that comes out on the arm that's located at the base of the stage from the tower. Now, on the Super Heavy booster, propellant loading will continue until T-minus 3 minutes. We've also configured the pad for liftoff. A little earlier in the count, the hold downs, the booster hold downs were commanded to unlatch.
Okay.
That means once the rocket has sufficient thrust to overcome its weight, it'll lift off the pad.
Wow.
There's no need to command the hold downs to release the rocket. As we
Alrighty.
mentioned earlier also, the ignition
all
sequence
looking
has been
promising,
slightly
people.
modified from the last flight for a more efficient liftoff. As a reminder, we ignite the engines a few seconds before T0. We don't lift off exactly at T0. We lift off a few seconds later.
And that's where all the damage happened last
Finally,
time,
the
sort of this
SpaceX
huge
team
amount of
continues to check
thrust
in
being
with the Coast Guard to ensure there are
directed down
no bolts
onto
in
the
the
launch
safety
pad.
perimeter before proceeding
Some
with
venting.
launch out over the Gulf of Mexico. Now, currently, we're coming up T-minus 7 minutes, 10 seconds to the test flight of Starship. Propellant loading is continuing on both stages of Starship. We're waiting now for the completion of loading of the header tanks in the next few minutes. The first stage is also beginning pressurization for flight while we are continuing to load propellant into it.
Okay.
Again, booster propellant load will finish at approximately T-minus 3 minutes. At that stage, both first and second stages are fully loaded, and we'll have the 10 million pounds of liquid propellant on board the two stages of
10
Starship.
million pounds.
Now, in the next few minutes, the guidance system will perform its final alignment. We'll get the automated flight termination system that'll arm, and the final TVC checkout will be performed. We may get a view looking up at the engines as we gimbal the 13 middle engines to check them out just
Yeah, I think
before
that's
liftoff at about
the,
T-minus 90 seconds.
Those central ring of engines, they
If
all
we need
move,
to
I think.
hold, it would
Last
come at
time I remember
T-minus
watching
40
it,
seconds.
we saw them
That's
move.
the point in the countdown,
I wonder
where
if
we
we'll
can
get the
pause to
same
wait
again.
for final checkouts or pressurization to complete. Or, as we're hearing right now, we're still working a few boats in the area that are headed south.
There's a cheer. That cheer often means something.
There's a lot of cheering here in Hawthorne. The boats are heading south, but we are still planning to hold at T-minus 40 seconds if necessary.
Oh, okay, so that's if we go below 40 seconds, we know that this is
Just
the launch.
amazing views of today's launch. There's
Look at that
nothing quite
sunrise
right
coming
like a
up.
launch at basically sunrise. Sunrise, I think, was just about 10 or 15 minutes ago out at Starbase.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, these views are just incredible. Couldn't ask for a more beautiful day to
Look at all of that
attempt
cryogenic
a test flight
venting.
here. Again, these are live views of Starship as it awaits
The
its
whole
second
machine
integrated flight
creates
test.
Like a fog.
Primary objective today is to get through stage separation. We really want to test
That's where it
out
went wrong last time,
our attempt to perform hot staging.
We're heading
where
to just
we are
below
going to
now,
ignite
5 minutes.
The engines on the second stage, while some of the engines on the first stage are still lit. So essentially, both stages will be making fire at the same time, and that will push the booster away from the ship. It'll separate the two stages. So that's the primary goal for today.
Starting to
We
get
really hope
excited
to
now.
be able to test that out. But at the end of the day, all and any data that we can collect is going to be incredibly helpful and help inform future improvements and iterations of the vehicle.
So they're going to hold at 40 seconds if there is something wrong. If we go below 40 seconds, we know that all is good, and there's a good chance it will launch. It's very exciting, you know.
Then it's going to try a boost back burn and hopefully a soft landing as a
They're not going to retrieve these vehicles, although be interesting to see if we see the sort of lower section of the Starship land in the ocean. Both parts will land in the ocean, one not too far away from the Boca Chica site, and also the upper part will land somewhere north of Hawaii, about an hour from launch. So if you've just joined the stream, it's great to have you here. My name's Wayne Hackman, aka Whackstar. I'm watching the stream from X, the SpaceX stream on X, actually ironically on a Starlink satellite connection. So thanks for joining out. If you want to say hi in the chat, it's always good to connect with people. If not, watch. And if you don't want my commentary, that's fine. Just head over to the X SpaceX X site. There's too many X's, and see if watch it from there. Otherwise, watch it with me, and hopefully the stream is good enough for you to enjoy.
Once we get to T-minus 40 seconds. And if we did have a hold, depending on the reason for the hold, we can hold for up to 30 minutes.
30 minutes, okay.
And today, actually, our entire launch window is about 20 minutes, so the whole duration would cover most of our launch window.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's different from Falcon.
Yeah, absolutely. With Falcon, we have to go exactly at T0. That 40-second hold is super helpful. If we need to, for example, we need more time to pressurize the COPVs for flight levels.
That's a beautiful view.
Perhaps
If
fuel.
the engineers just need to look at some of the data, see how engines are performing or the avionics.
Exactly, those checkouts. Being able to have the opportunity to top off the fuel or LOX if it's not fully loaded. And, we might want to just take a few more minutes for that. So that T-minus 40-second hold can be really helpful. But we don't have that option on Falcon, so it's a little bit different here.
Interesting. So, there you go. Are we going to see those gimbals move around?
We're just inside T-minus 2 minutes and counting. The good news right now we're hearing it doesn't look like we're going to need to hold a T-minus 40 second as the boats are clearing out of the way.
So,
next event coming
in about
up,
1 minute we'll
TVC
know if we're
Wiggles,
going
as we move the center
on time.
engine on the first stage.
It's always a
You can
remarkable...
see maybe just a little bit there. 90 seconds, Wiggles are underway as we're checking out the first stage.
You wouldn't want to be under there when that ignites. I think you'd be incinerated within milliseconds,
TVC
probably.
checks are complete. Next
course,
major event we're going to hear, hopefully, is the flight director go for launch at T-minus 30 seconds.
No, the big thing about this is, have they sufficiently upgraded the launch pad to withstand the launch?
40 seconds, we'll just
I don't
listen
know.
in. Last time, as you recall, we did hold at 40 seconds.
Last time we were watching this and saw debris flying off into those tank farms.
As we press the T0, we're going to watch and listen.
Let's find out.
The second test flight of Starship.
Oh, the clock has stopped. Okay. So they've paused this clock. Oh no, and it's going. There we go. Okay, so just paused it for a few seconds. I don't know if that was my stream or... Right, we've got 30 seconds to go, people. This is very exciting. Lots of cheering. Oh, hang on. No, they've reset the clock now to 41 seconds. So let's... I thought we were going for it. So the clock has been held by the looks of it. I'm hoping it's not my stream. No, I can still see audio. I can still see smoke drifting around, so we don't have a problem
Back
with...
at Hawthorne, we're at T-minus 40 seconds in holding. We had a rapid recycle. We've not heard anything over the countdown net as the team works both first and second stages. We're going to monitor the nets here for a minute.
So let's listen and find out why they've held it. They have about a 20-minute window for this launch. Oh, I'd love to see something like this live. Went to NASA 18 months ago and saw a...
Got a little bit of an update. We're continuing to hold at T-minus 40 seconds. This is the normal hold point for Starship, as we talked earlier. Sounds like we're working just for late pressurization on, I believe, the second stage. Team is working it. All the other systems are on hold right now at 40 seconds. We can hold here for about 15 minutes or so before we would run out of window for this morning. So right now they're working on filling pressure vessels. And ideally we'll be able to solve this and come back and release the clock at T-minus 40 seconds. We're going to continue to listen and monitor for another few minutes.
So interesting, something to do with the pressure systems. Is it because they haven't got enough propellant aboard, or there's a leak? I mean, they're trying to work the problem. Oh, a beautiful drone shot there.
And it's worth mentioning here that don't go away. We are holding at T-minus 40 seconds, but once the teams have resolved and see the data that they want to see, the clock can restart straight away, and it'll start ticking down from T-minus 40 again, all towards liftoff.
Yeah, exactly. Now, while we do have the ability to hold for up to 30 minutes, we only have a 20-minute launch window, so don't go away, don't change the channel, and just like Shiva said, we can restart that clock, and there it is.
Oh, there it's going. It's going. Right.
Clock is rolling.
So we have 30 seconds left. Oh, Starlink, don't give out on me now. Let's watch this bad boy lift off. 20 seconds. My name's Wayne Hackman. You're watching this on the Whackstar stream. This is the Twitter feed from SpaceX. Coming down to the last 10 seconds.
9, 8.
Now pay attention to those launchers on the bottom corner. Here we go.
3, 2.
The deluge system's going. It's away. It's lit. Oh no. Okay. I thought it was my stream.
We have liftoff.
Look at it. There it goes. It's going up. So no rapid deconstruction on the pad. Look at that. That's fabulous. And this time we saw that there were issues with the engines. And it looks like all engines are lit, according to the information that they're giving us, which is outstanding. Wow. Unbelievable. That's outstanding.
We are T plus 40 seconds into the flight of Starship. 33 Raptor engines powering the first stage.
Look at that, and they look like they're all lit. You could tell
We've heard
last time that there were
telemetry nominal
engines
call-out.
not
We're
working.
heading downrange over the Gulf of Mexico.
Look at that. So all engines are operational by the looks of it. Wow. So we're coming up to the stage separation in a moment.
And that call-out tells us Starship is through the period of greatest stress on the way to space.
Okay.
Now the next major event
1,600
is hot
kilometers an
staging
hour.
in just over 90 seconds from now.
It's up to almost
To
coming up
get ready,
to
the
20
booster will shut
kilometers
down
high.
all but 3 of the Raptor engines. Clamps holding the 2 stages together will release, and the Starship second stage will ignite its engines. Starship will then
This is
separate from the
about where it
Super
went
Heavy
wrong last
booster
time.
and head to space.
But all is
And
looking
at the
good.
same time, the 3 engines that are still firing on Super Heavy will flip the booster around. 10 more engines
at
will
it.
ignite
Look at
for
this
the boost
cheering.
back burn,
I never know if
putting
it's
the
a good
first
thing or a
stage
bad
on
thing.
path for a splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
We are coming up to that stage separation. It's looking like all engines are good. Look at that side view there. Going at almost 4,000 kilometers an hour. All right. So when is the separation?
Engine
taking?
power continues to look nominal on 33 Raptor engines.
Cool, that's good.
We're
All
about
those
to
engines
shut down the first stage and perform staging. Let's watch and listen.
Oh, this is exciting. We had a good indication it was going wrong last time.
And acquisition of signal Houston and New Orleans.
Okay. All the engines have shut down. Look at that.
Booster engine cut off.
Just look at that. Oh my goodness. This is further than we got last time. Look at that.
Stage separation.
It's separated. And that is so the Starship is now up the wow. And that's coming back. That is coming back. That's unbelievable. That's fantastic. All right, will it land now in the ocean? Of course, the big thing is to...
Incredible views of our Super Heavy booster.
Look at that. Oh,
And
exploded.
as you can see, the Super Heavy booster has just experienced a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. However, our ship is still underway with all 6.
Power and telemetry nominal.
All
And we
right.
just heard there, ship avionics, power and telemetry nominal. All 6
Wow,
engines
okay,
are lit,
so that
as you can
booster
see from the GUI
just
there at the
exploded.
bottom right-hand
But-
side of your screen.
But the top proportion is operational.
Now, we did know
Wow.
that the that hot staging was going to be incredibly dynamic. We knew that there was a chance that the booster would not survive, but we're going to take that data and figure
Okay.
out how we can make the booster better for the next hot
That's
stage.
just, it sounds like it got
Yeah,
damaged
that
in the
hot staging
separation.
put a lot of load on the top of the booster, and of course it flipped around there. A lot of dynamic stuff happening.
There's more cheering
The
going
ship
on.
is still going strong.
Look at
And
that.
it's doing great. Right now, the ship, the second stage, is on its way. Like
That's a
we
shame.
said,
We're
you
not going
can
to see
see
the
all
booster
6 of its
come back
engines
into
are
the ocean.
ignited.
Well, it's going to come back into the ocean in multiple pieces. But
The next major milestone for the ship will be the shutdown of those engines, or SECO, second engine cutoff, which if you follow our Falcon 9 launches, familiar terminology there. So far, today has been incredibly successful, even with the RUD of the Super Heavy booster. This is amazing.
primary objective of the booster today, to get to hot staging, to get ship on its way to orbit. It did that admirably.
Yeah, we definitely asked.
Starship trajectory nominal.
All right, great news there.
So
That
they've already
trajectory
achieved
for
much
ship
more than
is
they did in
nominal.
the first launch.
Once again, Starship's second stage is firing those engines.
I think
and as you just heard,
they
everything's
realised
looking
that
good. Now,
the
for the
separation
ship,
might
we
cause damage. It's
wanted it to
apparently
survive
an
hot staging,
untested
which, as you can see
method
there
of-
by that little dot on your screen, it did. We also
So
want
they're gonna take that data and
to
improve
basically
it.
demonstrate that the successful startup of that of those engines,
it's now at over
demonstrating
10,000
controlled ascent,
kilometers
which is
an
what it's
hour,
doing right now,
144
and eventually
kilometers
orbital
high.
insertion. We are hoping to basically send this around the Earth. And if it makes it this far, splash down in the Pacific Ocean, a couple hundred miles north of Hawaii.
So it got off the ground. I hope they do
Now,
cut
if we
back
get
to
that
the
far,
launch pad so we
like
can
all
see
of
what
that sounds
state
great.
that's
Secondary objectives for ship, again, continuing to gather engine data and about its health, performance.
Nominal ship chamber pressures.
Great news there. That tells us that the chamber pressures inside of the Starship, again, that's that small dot on your screen, basically the propellant pressures in the ship are looking good.
That's
Yeah, the
fantastic
bottom right
news.
corner
That,
of your screen,
really
you can
fantastic
see
news.
essentially a user interface showing us which engines are lit. So the 3 center sea level Raptor engines on ship are gimbaling
If you
engines.
just joined the stream, it's great to have
3
you here.
outer
You just
engines
missed
in the
the
triangle,
launch.
the larger
It
ones
worked
are
beautifully.
Raptor vacuum
It
engines.
separated
all of them
beautifully,
continuing
and
to
then
fire
the-
nominally. So they're at the
The booster
pressures
at the
that we
bottom managed to
expect
flip over,
to try to
and then
get
there was a
into
rapid
our target trajectory
disassembly.
today.
And
Yeah.
they
And
did.
we're not targeting orbit
They
today.
did suspect
We're targeting
that
almost orbit today.
in that
That's very
separation, the
intentional as
boosters
part
of
mission
the
design.
top
The
part of
goal
the
is to
Starship
get
could
to
damage it.
a
It
thrust
clearly
profile
has.
similar
They
to
wanted
what
to
we
gather
need
some
for
data
orbit,
to see
but
if
also to get to the energy
they're
levels
able to,
that the ship would need to dissipate for re-entry.
to improve
And
that.
so we're actually
Just,
going in
coming
a
up to 18,000
suborbital trajectory
kilometers
today, but
an hour,
that trajectory will
just
get us
shy
to
of
the
150
energy
kilometers
levels
in
that we
height,
need
so
at
they're well
re-entry,
above the
where we
Kármán
can
line.
really stress that heat shield and get valuable data on re-entry. And those calls that we are still on a nominal trajectory here and seeing nominal pressures means that we have a really good shot of hitting our target orbit.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Now, if the booster had survived, we would be around the time where it would be getting ready to land, performing its re-entry, but it unfortunately did not survive. That being said,
I mean, it was a
that's okay.
spectacular
It
explosion.
survived
I'd be
several
intrigued to
seconds
see
after,
if people took pictures of that
hot staging, so
that
we're
explosion.
Going to take that data and
But
improve the hot staging sequence. And
the top section is
probably
still active,
improve
it's
the
still doing
hardware
its job.
itself, for the
Everything
next
seems
flight.
to be good. And like I say, if you've just joined the stream, great to have you here. My name's Wayne Hackman. This is the X stream, SpaceX stream. Oh, what's going on there? Okay, so we don't know. So obviously the camera's not picking up the engines anymore. Have we lost? Has it exploded? So there's no more telemetry coming in by the
They're
looks of
standing
it.
by for a call out here. Coming up on the projected time that ship would shut down its engines.
Oh, okay. Is that a good scream or a...
As you can tell by the excitement from the crowd here at Mission Control
Now we're getting a
Center
nice
in
shot of the
Hawthorne.
ocean.
There's a great view of our Star Command Center. That's our control center
So,
at Starbase
has
Texas.
the spacecraft
Here,
exploded?
Mission Control Center behind us in Hawthorne. Everyone is super exciting. What a successful day this has been so far.
Yes, but we want to know if it's still alive. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Has it...
And I mean, up to this point, major successful milestones through hot staging, which was the big objective today.
Are they just... Do they not have a... I think it's looking... I don't know. I'm not going to call it
we
yet.
are going to head into the coast phase, planned for the next about hour and 5 minutes. We'll be returning around the T+1 hour and 15-minute mark. And that's while we're waiting for Starship to continue on to its next step for re-entry. We're not totally sure what video we're going to get, and that video comes normally by overflying ground stations, but we don't have a ton along our flight path. So fingers crossed that we will get some via Starlink on this mission since we're testing that out.
And I'm watching this through Starlink and streaming through Starlink, so on the same network. At some point it is supposed to be coming over Africa.
Net, so
I think I'm a bit too far north in Kenya. Come on, just give us a little indication that it's still alive. I'm hoping that it's just literally out of range of a station that is able to receive it. Sort of well over the Atlantic Ocean at the moment, and I'm assuming it's below the Starlink satellites, so what has gone well? It launched beautifully, but we don't see any evidence that the tank farm was damaged this time. All the engines lit.
Internal guidance, which means we're getting near the end of the approximately 6-minute burn of Starship, but we haven't gotten any more data since then, so we think we may have lost the second stage, so we would not be into coast phase. We wouldn't be able to come back in an hour or so and possibly get ready for re-entry. However, what we do know right now is we had an on-time launch at 7 o'clock. We got through the boats. First stage looked beautiful with 33 Raptor engines firing. We got the hot staging, you know, the thing that we really wanted to see and impressed. We saw the separation, we saw the flip maneuver, we saw the light up of the 6 Raptor engines on Starship.
Looking like the second stage now has contact with it.
Yeah, ultimately, honestly,
it looks like that the second stage exploded, although they got much further along than they did last time. So kudos to SpaceX on that one.
So much data, and that will all help us tomorrow.
I'm going to go just continue watching just for a few more moments.
And you can bet that there's going to be more.
I'm going to wait for confirmation.
We really do want to thank you all for joining us.
It looks like they're going to shut down now.
Of Cameron County, we want to thank all the federal agencies that have supported us for our test.
So it looks like they're winding down now. So for me, that looks like it looks like the second stage also decided to disassemble itself.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So well, that was really impressive. It took off. It was effective. It separated, and then of course they even managed to get the bottom stage to flip round, and then they think that there was damage from that separation, and then the top part went on and flew for another several minutes afterwards, and sadly they've lost transmission from it. So I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I enjoy streaming this, and if you watched it with me, I appreciate it. And have a great day, everybody, and I'll look forward to catching up with you guys soon. Bye.